Good morning, liveweatherblogs.com meteorologist Bob here for you with today's tropical update for Sunday, June 5th, 2011. What's out there in the tropics today? Well, we continue to watch our disturbance in the Western Caribbean. It's still just an investigative system, Invest 94L. Hurricane hunters are tentatively scheduled to go out there again this afternoon. They canceled it yesterday. System does look a little more organized this morning, so they may or may not go out there. We'll have to see. They should be leaving shortly, so we'll have to see if they go out. Right now, the National Hurricane Center gives this still a 30% chance of development in the next 48 hours. Again, getting a little better organized. I'm going to show you some maps here in a minute. And again, biggest concern right now is for the flooding, and I'll show you where that'll be coming up in the next few days. But again, still a slow process with this system. Let's take a look at what we have now. So here's the system right now. It's kind of a broad area of low pressure southwest of Jamaica. These are going to be the concerns for flooding, especially over Haiti, which they do not need any rainfall. Right now, so far, haven't seen much rainfall moving up to the northeast, but that could change here in the next couple days. So again, flash flooding for Jamaica, eastern Cuba, Hispaniola, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and Cayman Islands should be on the western edge of this for now, but definitely the moisture will be spreading up to the north. So that's what we're going to be looking at for the next couple days is flash flooding. Let's look at the satellite view this morning, and you can see trying to get better organized. The broad area of low pressure, still kind of ill-defined, is right here, right in this area. So the convection has continued off to the east. We're starting to get a little better feeder band here of moisture from the southwest, which is really what we could use here. And you can see that's starting to develop here this morning. So that could bring this system, maybe the system will start getting going today as this little moisture supply starts up again. This is what this system was a little starved with moisture the last few days. Also convergence, low-level convergence has been terrible with this system. Another thing we need to get this thing going. So a lot of factors against this system right now from developing, and that's why it's going to continue to be a slow process here in the next few days if it does develop. Again, rainfall, if this really gets going and slowly moves up to the north, heavy rainfall could spread over this whole region here in the next couple days. Again, looking at the visible loop, again, really hard to find a center. It looks like there's a broad area of circulation right in here. And again, you can see the blow up of convection this morning, getting some good flow up from the southwest now as this trough here. This has been part of that monsoonal trough, starts to feed this system again. So we'll see if that can aid in some development today for this system. And again, I was talking about the convergence. You can see there hasn't been much with this system at all. And this has kind of been the problem here between the dry air, convergence. Not really good to really get this thing going anytime soon. So again, a slow process. Vorticity, let's see. Well, again, kind of strung out here. If you look, here's another investigative system we have here in the Eastern Pacific, and if you can see the difference, vorticity here a little stronger, a little more consolidated. This is still a little bit of a elongated, kind of stretched out here. So again, that's you can see the two differences here in both of these systems, and which one is a little better organized than the other there in the vorticity department. Again, shear not bad over it. We've had this anticyclone trying to build. Again, that higher shear just to its north, and a lot of the global models, especially the GFS, really just do not develop the system at all as it moves to the north because this shear just rips this thing apart. And again, another negative factor into development with this system. If it does move north, will this shear lift north with it? Some of the models say yes, most of them say no. So that's going to be another negative factor here. If this does develop, will it get sheared apart? So again, another negative towards development there. I'm still kind of, on that 50-50 boat here. This one could go either way in the next few days, whether it develops or not. It's really hard to say right now. Again, right now, no threat to the United States as we have big high pressure sitting over us, giving us dry, hot weather. And I'll show you some of where this thing might go in the next week here. Looking at the, here's our tropical waves here and moisture. A lot of people, the novice doesn't really know this map too well. We'll just go quickly, but kind of like moisture feeding into this system. And we have another tropical wave here coming through the islands, and this will continue to feed moisture into this system. So, for a positive in development, this is good news right in here. You can see this big push of dry air bulging down north on this system as well, and that could get into the mix a little bit too. So again, it's kind of still on that edge here of development, no development. And that's where the models have been having trouble with this. Last week we saw, oh, it's going to develop, and then the last like couple days, most of the models are like, it ain't going to develop. So again, flip a coin right now. It could go either way. Again, the bigger picture, the water vapor loop, just showing you this dry area to the north. Here's this trough that has come down in the western Atlantic, and I'm going to show you where some of the models get the system going, hook up with this trough and push it out to the northeast. My thinking is, if this system does really get going in the next 24 to 48 hours, it could really take this move to the northeast and go out to sea. The longer it kind of sits here and is weak, that means this trough's going to eventually move off to the east, and it's going to just kind of linger down in the western Caribbean and eventually probably make a slow move to the north. And again, if we look at this, kind of shows you what's in the atmosphere here. This is big high pressure here. This is kind of a block. Think of like a football offensive line is just going to, putting down the block here. Nothing could go north right now. That's why we've been dry and hot, especially if you live here in Florida. It's like a desert right now. So this has been not our friend for rain here across the south. So it can't move this way. It could sneak this way to the northeast if it could get going. This trough is still right in here, but that window is going to close up in the next couple days. So if it doesn't catch that, then it's going to stay down in the Caribbean here and just sit here for a number of days. And again, slowly move north, because we're going to see here in a moment, this ridge kind of breaks down a little bit as we go towards the end of the week, into the weekend, and then into early next week. So if this does linger down here, it could get a slow move up to the north, maybe even northwest. So again, long way off for that, but that's a possibility there. And again, this is what I was going to show you. This is the long range models. Euro model compared to the GFS the next 7 to 10 days. More of a zonal flow now. You don't see the big troughs and ridges. So we're going to get more of a zonal flow. And again, if this system stays down in here, that could just slowly bring it up to the north. And again, rain chances for the south, if anybody wants to know, the next week is still pretty miserable. So no break from the drought anytime soon. Okay, specific models for the Invest. Again, all these little lines here is actually all the GFS ensemble models, and you can see they just kind of sit it down here. We've had the HWRF model continuing to try to bring this to the northeast. Canadian brings it up to the north as well, and then brings it up along this way. Those are two models that have continued to bring it to the northeast. Again, if this system develops quickly, that's a possibility. If not, I'm thinking more just sitting up in here, maybe north, maybe northwest, and just kind of drift up to this position up in here in the next few days or so. So that could be what we watch for during the week. Looking at the specific models, Euro model, this goes through mid to late next week. Again, nothing much with this system. Slowly brings it up to the north, but kind of doesn't do much with it. Again, the Euro model does have a lot of shear up here with this and really rips it apart. No gaps model, interesting, kind of splits this into two pieces. We actually have, whether it's the same system or not, kind of brings another system up to the northeast here, and it kind of sits this back up to the north. And again, you can kind of see this ridge breaking down, and that's what we're going to see in the next week, is this ridge finally losing a little bit of its grip over the south. And the Canadian model, this is what I was going to show you here, kind of brings it, gets it going, and then it's quickly up to the northeast here, right along the east coast. Could it be a possibility? Sure, anything's a possibility right now. Again, my thinking is, if it gets going in the next couple days, we could get a tropical depression, tropical storm quickly. It could move up to the northeast or north quickly. If it stays weak, I think it's going to sit down here and then slowly move up to the north. Well, that's it for my tropical update today. I will probably have another one tomorrow morning for you guys. Everybody have a nice Sunday and be safe.